day. My name is Trenton Mathias. I am here today representing retired Judge the Honorable Elliot Mutis, who is out of town and unable to attend today. I was a participant in last year's trial, Tippecanoe and Super Bowl II. I played the part of the defense attorney. The graded team is successful again in bringing you this year's trial. I cannot tell a lie. It is based on the unfortunate happening of losing the school's George Washington tulip poplar in the drought of 2012. Jeffrey's father was commissioned to cut down the tree by the classes. George Washington Board of Directors. The pigs who attended the school, however, saw the actual act with Jeffrey's father dressed as George Washington to honor the president. The pigs felt the axeman was actually Miss Wolf. We'll find out what happens today in court. At the end of the trial, I'd like to hear from you. Ask yourself this question: Are we fools for folly or troops for truth? Again, that's, are we fools for folly or troops for truth? Enjoy the trial.
All rise. The U.S. District Court of the Southern District of Indiana is now in session. Now the Honorable Kaya Barnes is presiding.
Be seated. Bring in the jury. Here today for the case of the United States versus the Big Bad Wolf. The Big Bad Wolf is charged with intentional destruction of property and for scheming to put the three little pigs in fear of their lives. Mr. Hans Brantley represents the concerns of the three little pigs. Mr. Brantley, you may address the jury.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the defendant is not called the Big Bad Wolf for nothing. I believe the evidence will show you this. Why, just look at those teeth. We could all hear some low-sounding huffing and puffing right now coming from the Big Bad Wolf. Jury, I would like to thank you for your understanding and for the time and the attention that's being taken away from your families and businesses because you are with us in this courtroom. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
The Big Bad Wolf is represented by Miss Michaela Coleman. Miss Coleman, you may address the jury.
Remember, as we sit here today, that the wolf, Miss Mamate Wolf, doesn't have to prove anything. That under the Constitution, she is presumed innocent. The government must prove beyond a reasonable doubt that the wolf, Miss Wolf, here, is guilty of crimes of intentional destruction of property and for scheming to put the three little pigs in fear of their lives. I'm here today asking that you will find the wolf not guilty of these crimes, but instead misunderstood, shut out by the society. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen of the jury.
Mr. Brantley, you may call your first witness.
The prosecution calls the Greenbriar School librarian.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth? So help you God. I do.
Be seated.
Miss Reeves, tell us about your job.
I am the school librarian of GREENBRIAR Elementary School, and I've been working with books for many, many years.
And are you familiar with the book written about three tiny, little, sweet pigs and a vicious big bad wolf?
Objection. The prosecution is leading the witness.
Sustained. You will reword your question, Mr. Brantley.
familiar with a book that is well known, written about 3 little pigs and a wolf?
Yes, and I just have a copy of that book in my book bag. I just love children's literature.
Mrs. Reeves, please keep to the topic.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I'm feeling a little nervous being here today. Here it is, my book of the 3 little pigs.
Would you tell us about that story that so many of us have grown up having our mothers and grandmothers read to us as they tucked us into our beds?
Objection.
Sustained. Mr. Brantley?
Will you tell us about the story?
Yes, 3 pigs of little pigs built their homes out of straw, sticks, and bricks. It's only been destroyed by the big bad wolf who comes up and eats up the little pigs. But the pigs got together in a house to fix that wolf.
Thank you, Mrs. Reeves.
Would the defense care to question the witness?
Thank you. Mrs. Reeves, when was this so-called story written, and by whom was it written?
The first version of the 3 little pigs was printed in England in a collection of fairy tales in the year 1892. It was written after the whole world heard the story of Little Red Riding Hood. The author who wrote the 3 little pigs is unknown. But then there are newer and famous stories of the 3 little pigs. The Yo Hungry Wolf, the true story of the Big Bad Wolf, and so on and so forth.
Did I hear you correctly? The author is unknown.
Yes, that is right.
And do you have any idea of why the story was written? Is it based on fact?
Well, no. There is no sense of knowing the author of the 3 little pigs. I guess we could just assume that it is all fantasy.
Thank you, Mrs. Reeves. Nothing confirmed there.
Mr. Brantley, you may call your next witness.
The United States calls the Russian peasants Gouda and Gruder brothers.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do.
You may be seated.
Please tell us about your homeland and what you know about wolves.
We are Russian peasants who came to America to visit our relatives. I live in the country of Russia. There are wolves there that roam free. They are vicious and mean humans.
All Russian people know it to be true. Let us all have a musical fear and wolf can believe it.
Thank you, Ruda, for your testimony.
Defense?
Gouda, do you know anything about the North American wolves?
I do not, but I assume that they are also wild and mean. I can't believe we had one right here. I'm very afraid.
Have I heard you correctly? You do not know anything about the North American wolves. Is that correct? I understand they are a completely different animal.
Yes, that is true. I do not know anything about the North American wolves.
Thank you, Gouda. We were talking about a species of wolves unknown in North America.
Mr. Brantley, you may call your next witness.
The United States calls the first little pig.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You may be seated. Mr. Brantley?
Tell us about your encounter with the wolf.
Well, the wolf is a student in my classroom. Imagine that. How would you like her in your classroom? Those furry ears, those pointed teeth, every day in my classroom? I'm just so stressed. She's a wolf, all right. Why look at those pointed teeth? We've got a story beyond belief for you. We 3 pigs became suspicious in October. It was Halloween evening and all the children were trick-or-treating. We were gathered at the 3rd little pig house because we believed it was safer if we appeared in numbers. Then we heard a knock at the door. We heard the familiar phrase of little pig, let me come in. We yelled back, not by the hair now, chinny chin chins. Then we heard barking and coughing. Thank goodness we were in a house of bricks and our blowing wasn't strong enough to knock our house down. We peeked out the window. She looked strange, like she had a disguise over her head, almost like a sack. But she couldn't fool us. We knew who she was. She was out to eat us.
First little pig, let's keep to the topic.
Well, we just kept our eye on her as she walked away eating candy from a bag. Imagine that, acting like a human child, eating her Halloween treats.
Were there any identifying marks?
Yes. I pulled out my iPhone and took a picture of her. See, here she is.
Bailiff, mark this photo as Exhibit 1. Mr. Brantley, go on.
Is there any more?
No, except she puts fear in my life every day in our classroom. She masquerades as a compassionate member of our community. The gall of it.
Is there any more, prosecutor?
No, Your Honor. That says it all.
Miss Coleman, would you like to question the first little pig?
Thank you, Judge. First little pig, do I understand correctly? The wolf in question, Miss Wolf, came to the third pig's door, acting as if she was a child dressed in Halloween attire, so she could gain entrance into your house?
Yes, that's right.
Did you talk to the wolf? Was there any more?
No, only to hear her say that old tricky phrase of little pig, etc. We yelled back to her that she couldn't fool us, scare us, and to go home before we called the police.
Is there any more?
Do you think I would fraternize with her? Yay!
Thank you, first little pig.
Mr. Brantley, you may call your next witness.
The United States calls the second little pig.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, to help you God?
I do.
You may be seated.
Please tell us about your adventure with the wolf.
Our class took a field trip to that terrible, horrible Wolf Park. I don't know what's wrong with our teacher wanting us to know about such a predator. She just thinks we should take time to get to know all species in the world before making decisions about their friendship. A scientist named Monty Sloan told us how wonderful wolves are. Now what is wrong with him? He knows they attack all the time for no apparent reason. You should have seen that wolf strut around with his friends at Wolf Park. Then we headed to the Tippecanoe battlefield for lunch. I thought we would have a peaceful lunch in the beautiful park full of trees hundreds of years old. But oh no, that wolf strutted her stuff again, giving speeches about the Native Americans, the prophet, and supposedly her uncle, the scout, a general no less. As if we believed that bunk. I saw her with an arrow. Why? Why is such a thing if it wasn't to shoot a pig for her dinner? Then she started shouting, Tippecanoe and piggies too.
Was that the end of things?
No, we returned to school and decided to go on a ride with our neighbor who drives the yellow banana car around the community. He's Caroline's dad, Chris Cox. His car has a big number 57 on the side. Poor old man, he thinks that's a race car. We saw our friend Little Red Riding Hood skipping by. She was skipping so high she dropped things from her basket. Looked like biscuits and ham. It made us sad, so we went on. We were whizzing around when we noticed the wolf at Subway. We peeked inside just in time to hear her ask if they sold ham and bacon sandwiches. We waited outside until she appeared with food in a bag. We then followed her to the stores of some local entrepreneurs. She went to Tulip North, again came out with a bag and a big smile, and headed next to Boston Market. We thrust our bodies out of the car and heard her say the words ham and steamed apples. A boy in our room has an uncle who works in there. I just want to ask Jose if he can find out what that wolf ordered. Wouldn't you want to know? Dead pigs with apples in their mouths are feast for humans, you know.
I sure would, that sly one.
Mr. Brantley, save your opinion. Second little pig, you may continue.
We kept following her on to Vanilla Bean Bakery. She did have a ticket for a free cake bowl from the bakery, so to give her the benefit of the doubt, perhaps she was picking it up. Those folks are so nice there, giving us all free items, but you can guess another stack full. She had the nerve to go to Sweet Things next, where she bought caramel apples. Apples to stuff in the mouth of innocent little piggies when she roasts us.
Is there anything else, second little pig?
No, sir, that is the story. I just want to know what she got at Vanilla Bean Bakery. No ham, pork chops, pork roast, bacon, or apples there. Second little pig, did you get a chance to examine the food items closely? Yes, I snuck up when the wolf didn't expect me and just sniffed. And what did you smell? Smelled like meat to me. Meat. Probably one of my cooked cousins.
Enough of that. I was never much for screamers. Miss Coleman, please proceed.
Second little pig, did you listen carefully to the words of the scientist Monty Sloan at Wolf Park? No, I covered my ears. I couldn't bear it. And did you try to understand the historical facts of the Tippecanoe battlefield? No way. A bunch of actors, they all are. Such a story, a made-up story. Is there any more, second pig? No, but help us. We're in fear of our lives every single day.
Mr. Brantley, you may call your next witness.
The United States calls the third little pig.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do.
You may be seated.
Third little pig, tell us about your happenings between you and the wolf in question.
I was out walking peacefully in my own neighborhood. I wanted to visit the patriotic garden behind our school. There was a suspicious-looking guy out there, looking slyly at our own George Washington tulip poplar. He had white hair, a little shaggy if I might say so. He wore a peculiar-looking hat, a hat like people wore long ago. All of a sudden, that guy lifted an axe and started hitting our beloved George Washington tulip poplar. I hid behind the tall grasses and watched the whole thing. A group of kids from my class were assembled, crying as they watched the whole thing occur.
What did you make of this, little pig?
I think the wolf was destroying the trees so she could have wood to roast us with. Oh my gosh, she had to save us. Eee!
Is there any more?
No, I just can't go on.
Hang in there, it's almost over, and we'll have that wolf.
Objection!
Sustained. Miss Coleman, do you care to examine the witness?
Thank you, Your Honor. Third little pig, what led you to believe that the wolf had ill intentions?
Well, just look at her right now, over there. Why, look at those mean eyes. Walking around mean, hungry, angry, dressed in disguise as an honorable statesman. Eee!
Order in the courtroom. No more outbursts, pigs, and I mean it. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Coleman, you may proceed.
Third little pig, what led you to believe that your family was being harmed?
Well, I knew what my sisters had said, and I knew the story of the three little pigs. Then, there are those awful-looking teeth, and then I heard her say, I cannot tell a lie. I have cut down the tree. She hung her head in shame, pure shame, and offered firewood so she could roast us. Eee!
Stop now, piggies.
And if that is all you had to believe, that the wolf was out to hurt you or your home, did you ask her why she cut down the tree?
Of course not. I don't want to become just another piece of bacon.
Thank you, third little pig.
You may leave the stand. Mr. Bramley, call your next witness.
The United States calls Little Red Riding Hood.
Oh! Who's that I see walking in these woods? Why, it's Little Red Riding Hood. Hey there, Little Red Riding Hood. You sure are looking good. You're everything a big bad wolf could want. Listen to me, Little Red Riding Hood. I don't think little big girl should go walking in these spooky old woods alone.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Be seated, miss.
What's your name, please?
My name is Little Red Riding Hood.
Do you know the wolf in question here today, Miss Hood?
Yes, I surely do. She took my dear Granny away from me.
Explain further, Miss Hood.
My dear Granny lives in the woodsy area just beyond Robbins Park. She has lived there many, many years, just like her parents, grandparents, great and great-great-grandparents. Often my mother sends me there and brings a basket of goodies. The last time I went there, I brought a basket of fresh baked biscuits and ham. As I skipped along the path, with my basket swinging by my side, I had a funny feeling that something was wrong. I kept hearing my mother's words, "Granny needs you. You mustn't let her down." So I went on anyways. As I approached the house, I noticed that my basket felt light. I looked inside and saw that my food was gone. Something else felt stranger, and my feelings of doubt became stronger and stronger. As I approached, I entered Granny's house and ran straight up to her room, where I knew she would be. As I skipped into her bedroom, I noticed a furry-like body sticking under the sheets. I also saw some furry-like ears above the covers. I should have left right then and there, but I had to be brave. So I pulled down the sheets and saw a big furry-like body under the sheets.
It wasn't my granny.
It wasn't my granny. All right. This granny had fur sticking out everywhere. You know the rest of the story by now. What big eyes you have, my dear. I didn't fall for any of that stuff. After all, I've read my share of children's literature.
Go on, Little Red.
After I saw those big teeth, I ran straight out the house and ran straight for home. It probably was just my imagination playing tricks on me.
Just my imagination running away with me. Just my imagination running away.
I really don't lie. I just have a big imagination. In fact, I'm very disappointed in myself. Miss Wolf bought me food from Boston Market, Tulip North, Sweet Things, and Vanilla Bean Bakery for the food I've lost from Granny. How could I have done such a thing?
Is your granny well today?
Yes, she is fine. You have it straight from Little Red's lips. Little Red's granny is safe and well. I just have a big imagination. No wolf hurt my grandmother.
Miss Hood, is that all?
Yes, that is all.
And Miss Hood, why didn't you just tell me this story in the first place? I wouldn't have brought you into this courtroom, you know.
I don't know, just shy, I guess. I just have a big imagination.
Miss Coleman?
Little Red, who do you think was in your granny's bed when you entered her house?
I don't know, but there she is over in the galley.
We'll get to the bottom of this, don't worry.
Miss Coleman, you'll have your time in court. Mr. Brantley, do you have any more witnesses?
No, sir. I guess my witnesses weren't as substantial as I was led to believe.
Yes, Mr. Brantley. Save it for another court.
Yes, Your Honor.
The government rests. Miss Coleman, call your first witness.
The defense calls Miss Mama Table.
Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? The big bad wolf, the big bad wolf. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Ha 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 ha.
Pigs, sit down. Sit down. Don't move one more time or you will be asked to leave the courtroom if you don't quiet down. May the wolf take the witness stand.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Be seated.
State your name, your age, and tell us about when and why you moved into the GREENBRIAR community.
My name is Miss Mate Wolf and I'm 9 years old. I came to Indianapolis to live after I heard about a great classroom. I attended school in Minnesota while I worked as a technician for the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Timberwolves Club heard of the success of the Indianapolis Fever team and asked me to come to Indy and help out as I learned from experts. My job was to look for marketing ideas, training methods, and how they raise the spirit. It worked perfectly. GREENBRIAR School and the national champs, the Fever team. Also, I had heard so much about my great-great-great-grandfather and how he worked for the Indian Confederacy in Indiana many years before. Indiana was in my heart. Another reason I came to this school is because of my uncle, Dr. David A. Wolf, was a student in the Washington Township community and was well accepted. He became an astronaut, you know, and has done great things for the U.S. space program.
Tell us how you got your name, Miss Wolf.
My mother gave me my name. My many greats grandfather was a scout for the Woodland Indians. They honored our wolf packs for our contribution to nature. He was Wolf General, you know, honored by many wolves, American forces, and our friends, the Native Americans. We were as one with the Woodland Indians as we shared the fear of losing our land to the new people coming to America. Mamate was Chief Tecumseh's wife's name. My great-great-great-grandfather respected Tecumseh for his desire to deal with the army and new settlers peacefully. It's as simple as that.
Tell us about Halloween evening.
I love holidays, and Halloween is no different. I like to dress up in costumes and like to see others in costumes also. I wanted to do something good for my community and for the fever, so I passed out schedules of upcoming games and caramel corn. I got 90 bags of caramel corn from the local Cub Scout group. I believe in supporting my local community.
Is there anything you'd like to add?
After trick-or-treating, I invited neighbors to play a game of H-O-W-L, which spells howl. The game is inspired by the wolves at Wolf Park and created by Parker Brothers CEO, Mr. Cole Brannigan.
Did you leave the house that evening?
No, there wasn't time. I had over 200 trick-or-treaters and 20-some friends join me for a rip-roaring howl game. Howl!
Is that all for the evening of Halloween?
I went to bed as soon as the last neighbor left.
Mr. Brantley, you may question the wolf.
Okay, Wolfie girl, there must be more.
That's it, Mr. Brantley.
Oh, sure. I'm not finished with you yet.
Please continue, Miss Coleman.
Please tell us about your encounter with the second little pig in September at Wolf Park and at the Tippecanoe Battlefield and Museum.
In September, our teacher took us to Wolf Park to study wolves with the famous scientist Monty Sloan. He told about our strong commitment to family, our loyalty, and how we are shy and frightened by people. We had lunch at the Battlefield Park in the museum. It was a lovely and beautiful fall day.
Did you happen to yell anything while you were at the park?
Yes. I was thinking of the battle. I yelled William Henry Harrison's old slogan, Tippecanoe and Tyler too. I was just overcome with the history of the grounds. I apologize. I should have been quiet.
Go on.
When we returned to school, I felt wonderful. My human friends now knew much more about me. When I returned, I went through a walk through the community. I saw Little Red skipping by. She was in a hurry and I noticed some items falling out of her basket. I called out to her, but she was singing and continued to skip on. I went to pick up what she had dropped and found biscuits and ham. Poor thing, I didn't want her to be without food.
What happened next?
I simply went to some of our favorite stores to buy Little Red some surprises. I knew she liked bread items and pork because of what fell out of her basket. I went to Subway, Boston Market, Tune Up Nor, Vanilla Bean Bakery, and Sweet Things. Such great shops we have. I got my free cake ball from Vanilla Bean. The owner visited our school and gave us free tickets. Such a nice guy. I bought something for Little Red at each store.
I hear she has a granny.
I hear she has a granny she cares for. Such a sweet girl.
Is there anything you would like to add?
No, that is all.
Mr. Brantley?
Tell the truth. You were looking for a pork chop fix, weren't you?
No, in fact, I don't eat pork. It doesn't agree with me.
Sure. We all know you're in for a swine attack.
Strike that comment, please. Not again, Mr. Brantley.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. That's all concerning the second little pig.
Ms. Coleman, you may continue.
Now, for your involvement with the third little pig, tell us what happened at the Patriotic Garden.
The George Washington tulip bulb tree on the school grounds died of the drought of 2012. When our teacher mentioned that the tree needed to come down, a girl in our class popped up and said, "You can't cut down George. We love that tree." The class agreed. We decided to go to classrooms and ask each child to cast a vote for the future of the tree. The school selected cutting down George, planting a new George, and using the wood from the first George to make artifacts that both reminded us of the tree and of the historical period in which George Washington lived.
Please continue.
We were studying the First Amendment and women's suffrage. The class saw the connection. The kids should get to vote. At least in some things, it all made sense.
Who cut down the tree?
Mr. Alvarado, Jeffrey's father, cut down the tree. I watched from afar. Some girls gathered and cried when the tree came down.
Did you hear Mr. Alvarado speak at any time?
Oh yes, he said, "I cannot tell a lie. I cut down the tree." Boy, he was really into it, guilt and all, even though he was directed to cut it down and knew it was the right thing to do.
Is there any more?
No, that is all for that day.
Mr. Brantley, do you have any questions?
A wolf, General. Who would believe that? And we all know who cannot tell a lie. We all know who can tell a lie.
Mr. Brantley, please sit down. Thank you, Miss Wolf. Miss Coleman, call your next witness, please.
The defense calls teacher Kathy Robbins.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
You please be seated.
Miss Robbins, tell us about your job.
I am a third grade teacher at GREENBRIAR School. I am so lucky to teach 29 wonderful children.
Is the defendant, Miss Wolf, one of your students?
Yes, she is.
What about the three little pigs?
They are students of mine also.
Tell us about them, please.
Miss Wolf is new to our school this year. She is very quiet, good listener, and worker, polite and responsible also. The pigs are sweet and good students too. They are triplets. Sometimes they don't think before they speak though, and hurt the feelings of other students. It is a problem that we are working on. Then there's another problem. They squeal and squeal. They tend to jump to conclusions. It is hard for the other students to get their work finished.
Tell us about the interaction between the wolf and the pigs at school.
The pigs always act up when Miss Wolf comes into the building. I led a class discussion to ease their fears. We determined the number of deer killed by wolves in 1 year in the Yellowstone Park area. I thought that if I could show the pigs that wolves only take what they need and are not wasteful, that they would feel better. Besides, the school cafe feeds the wolves well. Our class was asked by the Deputy Forestry to use their research to do the calculations on the eating habits of wolves.
Yes, we will have an expert interpret that information later.
Mr. Brantley, you may cross-examine the witness.
Do the three little pigs often seem scared and worried to you in the classroom?
Yes, they do.
Why do you think they are so scared?
They have told me that they are afraid of the wolf. We are working in class to help them feel more secure and not to believe everything that they read, but to make up their own mind based on facts. I had told them that you cannot judge a book by its cover. And besides, no one is all good and no one is all bad. I feel that the pigs are slave for the fictional fairy tale book they have read.
Thank you, Miss Robbins. Oh, Miss Robbins, you're looking good today.
Mr. Brantley, no fraternizing with the ladies today.
I'm sorry, Your Honor. I learned it from my dad.
Miss Coleman, call your next witness.
I call Coach Rick Alterman of the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Be seated. Miss Coleman,
Tell us about your relationship with the wolf on trial.
Miss Wolf took care of our lighting and sounds for our game. She made it fun. You could always count on her creativity and responsibility.
She was on time.
She was on time and worked long beyond the time she was expected to work. She checked everything out with me first.
She also helped me coach.
She also helped me coach by leading the team in exercise. It was a disco dance she learned in the classroom.
What's my players learn?
Once my players learned it, they became more balanced and fluent in their moves.
Night fever.
Night fever, I think it was called. You should see the wolf and one of my players perform it for you.
We may just do that, if for nothing else but to break up this trial for a while. Has a wolf ever been a problem to anyone or to any of your facilities?
Absolutely not. She's the best.
What about her character?
Like I said, she was a real leader, a positive role model, someone I could always count on.
Like I said,
you should see
us dance now.
You should see us dance now.
That real team spirit.
That real team spirit once that music begins.
Okay, Coach. Player Kevin Love and Wolf, will you come forward and perform for us?
Yeah.
Thank you, Mr. Alderman, Captain Love. Thank you, Coach, and good luck next season. That is, when you're not playing the Pacers.
Mr. Brantley?
Is there anything that this wolf ever does wrong?
Not that I know of.
Yeah.
The next witness, Miss Coleman.
I call Kevin Love, well-known Timberwolves player.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, but live on the truth, so help you God?
Please be seated.
Tell us about the wolf in question.
It's like the coach said, Ray Wolf. In fact, he helped me to train the team. She knew more about speed and trained than anyone I ever knew about. And that then that she brought back from my Andy's Rocket team now.
Anything else?
No, that at all.
Mr. Brantley?
Have you seen any violent tendencies toward people or pigs from the defendant?
Absolutely not. She does great things for our sounds, light, and spirit. We respect her.
Is that all?
Yes.
Miss Coleman, are there more witnesses?
I call Monty Slump of Wolf Park.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please seated.
What is your name and where do you work?
I am Monty Salone. I have been a wolf scientist for many years at Wolf Park in Battleground, Indiana.
What do you know about wolves, Mr. Sloan?
North American wolves are carnivores. North American wolves are carnivores. Like most humans, they are born into the world to eat meat and to live in the wild. They follow the rules of the forest as they only take what they need, no more. I wish that man was careful about life. They eat rabbits, beavers, deer, and sometimes livestock when there's nothing else to eat. I have a chart here with information from the Department of Forestry. It shows how deer killed in one season in the northern part of Alaska. Miss Robbins students were able to do the math calculations for us after receiving the data from the Department of Forestry.
Let's have exhibit number 2 brought forth.
Number 1,
Did you get by the mic? Sit down.
the most deer were killed by hunters, 90,000. The second most were killed by disease, starvation, and other causes. Third most deer were killed by cars, 15,000. The fourth number of deer killed by wolves is 890.
Mr. Sloan, are wolves aggressive to humans?
No. There is not one case. Not one documented case of a healthy wolf attacking a human. They do eat small animals. That is their job in the balance of nature. If they didn't eat them, then they would starve to death. There is a circle of life, you know.
Thank you, Mr. Sloan.
Mr. Brantley?
Okay. The wolves are vicious. They eat those cute little deer, you say.
Vicious? No. Eating what they need. And sure, thank goodness they do. They take only what they need to survive. No more. They have a part in the circle of life. If they didn't eat the small number of deer that they do, then the deer would starve to death. Every animal has a part to play to keep the circle turning, you know. Chief Dan George, noted Native American, has been known to say, if you talk to the animals, they will talk to you, and you will know each other. If you do not talk to them, and you will not know them, and what you do not know you will fear. What one fears, one destroys.
Okay, that's enough.
Mr. Brantley, please call your next witness.
They shouldn't be eating any innocent animal.
Pigs, sit right down in your seat.
Woo!
Mr. Brantley, control yourself.
Yes, Your Honor.
Miss Coleman, call your next witness.
Miss Piggy and Carmen, will you please take the stand?
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Please be seated.
Miss Piggy, where did you meet the wolf on trial today?
Just look at her. She made me beautiful. Just beautiful. Not that I was on the field. She just made me more beautiful. See, this is me on money like a president. I'm more famous than ever. Move over, George, Abe, and Ben. Here I come.
That's your face on the bill.
Don't I look gorgeous?
Judge, we have a copy of the bill here as exhibit number 3.
Bailiff, please show the jury and the gallery the piggy money.
Why, yes, that's me, Miss Piggy, right on front of the $20 bill. Who else would it be?
What does the wolf have to do with this money?
Well, I'm no dead president. Oh, sure, that means that I'm not so famous after all. Well, anyway, I was running for class mayor to see how could I connect one for president. The wolf liked my mayoral speech. She decided to support me for office and my run for office. In this advertisement, she made this bill in my honor.
Did you hear the wolf do anything inappropriate toward the pigs before, during, or after your run for office?
Oh no, what a supportive friend. I know if she did. I'm a pig, you might not have realized that before. Love that wolf. Honey, you can never get enough attention. Did you know my trailer's bigger than this whole courtroom?
Let's keep to the subject, Miss Piggy.
I'm not an ordinary pig, I understand, Miss Wolf. She made me even more famous. Good campaign manager. Good at marketing. Now I'm more famous than Porky Pig and Hammy, you know.
Mr. Brantley, your turn.
You must be wearing eye shades, Miss Piggy.
Hey.
Mr. Brantley, straighten up or you will not see much more of this courtroom.
Thank you for your testimony, Miss Piggy. Carmen, it is your turn.
Raise your right hand and do promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Tell us about the wolf. Did you see the wolf up to no good with the pigs?
Absolutely not. Made my lady look good. Isn't she just beautiful with those golden locks of hers? More lovely than Goldilocks?
Is that all?
Not much to it, is there? Great, campaign manager. Now put my lovely girl back on the map.
Mr. Brantley, can I trust you?
Yes, Your Honor. Kermit, how do you really feel about Miss Piggy?
We're in love.
Okay.
And the wolf?
Like I said, couldn't be a finer friend to my lovely Miss Piggy.
That will be enough. You are absurd, if you ask me.
Well, we didn't ask you.
All right, boys. Step down, Miss Piggy and Kermit. Miss Coleman, call your next witness, please.
The defense calls Granny Wolf.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Take your seat.
State your full name and connection to this case.
I am Granny Wolf, grandma to many children. I am the official granny to Little Red Riding Hood. Though I am not a wolf, my last name is Wolf. I wear this get up for special occasions. See? I live in a community and take care of shut-ins, babysit, anything others might need.
How did you get involved in all of this?
I have to tell the truth. I went to a disco dance class with the children at GREENBRIAR. Disco rocks. I didn't want to embarrass my granddaughter, so I put on this mask so no one will know me. I just got home when I heard the knob turn on the door. I jumped into bed so Little Red would not think I'd been out dancing. Only I made a mistake. I forgot to take off the mask.
What happened next?
Another mistake. I played out the story, letting Little Red thinking I hate my grandmother. I feel dreadful. I always taught Little Red to never tell a lie. I told her our first president, George Washington, confessed to his father because he could not tell a lie. Just look at me. How can she ever forgive me?
Have you confessed to her?
I have. She says she understands because we all make mistakes, but I know I'll do this and I'll never forget it.
She has forgiven you, and you must get over this. One thing is certain. Telling the truth is so very important. As always, you've learned a good lesson.
Miss Coleman, is that all?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Brantley?
Thanks, Grandma Wolf. You made my day. Those wolf characters so to yourself. Can't trust them.
Mr. Brantley, take your seat. Miss Coleman, call your next witness, please.
I call Dr. David A. Wolf to the stand.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Be seated.
Dr. Wolf, tell us about your life as a child and about your occupation now that you are an adult.
I grew up in Indianapolis and attended school in Washington Township School District. I loved times as a child. I got much encouragement from my interest from fellow students and teachers. Later, I went on to school at Purdue University because I was interested in aeronautical engineering. After that, I went on to medical schools at IU. I became an astronaut and worked for NASA. I am currently on a certification from the mission to Mir. I've been on board the spaceship in space doing tests in order to aid life and make great discoveries that will make a difference in the world.
And you're a wolf, is that correct?
Yes, as you can see, I am a gray wolf. I reside in the Midwestern part of the United States.
Now, please tell us about Miss Wolf.
Miss Wolf is my niece, a wonderful niece. Her father is a gray wolf, my brother. We've been exchanging letters and phone calls for years. She resides in Minnesota before coming to Indy. She came to Indy because she is a serious student and wanted to participate in the grade 18 classroom to learn techniques from the Indianapolis Beaver team to help advance the Minnesota Timberwolves team.
Thank you, Dr. Wolf.
Mr. Brantley, it is your turn.
Dr. Wolf, if if Miss Wolf is so serious, why does she threaten those 3 cute little pigs?
Objection.
We word your question, Mr. Brantley. This is your last warning.
Dr. Wolf, why didn't Miss Wolf make friends with those pigs once and for all? She's such a nice girl.
I know she tried to invite them over to the party once, but they're always insulting when she asks them. She had told me that she had given up trying to be their friend. Other students are her friends, though.
That will be all, Dr. Wolf. It's easy to see whose side you're on.
Call your next witness.
I call Mr. Alvarado, Jeffrey's father.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Be seated.
Please tell us your name and explain why you were at the school patriotic garden.
I am Mr. Alvarado, father to Jeffrey and Mrs. Robbins' class. I came to school and cut down the George Washington tulip poplar. I cannot tell a lie. I did it, but I was asked to do it. Really? The class established a board that decided to cut down the tree. You see, it died in the summer of 2012. There was a big drought. Everyone was sad. In fact, some girls came to watch and cut it down. They were crying and holding each other. I dressed up like George Washington to honor the tree. After all, the real General Washington. Washington planted the parent tree of the tree I cut down. I felt dreadful, but it had to be done. The cool thing about woodworkers is they may make colonial items from the dead tree. Lobos son buenos animales, which means wolves are great animals. Me gusta los lobos, which means I love wolves.
Is there anything else?
No, that is all. I was only trying to be helpful. Dead trees can fall on people, you know. And we wanted it to be safe on the playground.
Thank you.
Mr. Brantley?
Did you see a wolf or pig at the site?
Not really. Thought I saw something hide behind the large sycamore tree, but it was only for a second, then it was gone.
I certainly hope you had permission to cut down that tree.
I cannot tell a lie.
Mr. Brantley, please remember that Mr. Alvarado is not on trial here today.
Okay.
Miss Coleman, you are next.
I call Mr. Cole Brannigan.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Be seated.
State your name and tell us how you know the wolf here today.
I am Cole Brannigan, CEO of Parker Brothers Company. We manufacture board games. I'm also the inventor of the board game HOW. That's spelled H-O-W-L. I invented it after a trip to Wolf Park. Fascinating, absolutely fascinating. I learned the truth, the whole truth about wolves. You want to spread the word. The wolf has been misunderstood for far too long. Thank goodness for the wolf. Why we need wolves in our environment? They play a big role in the reducing of the overpopulated deer herds. Thank goodness for the wolves that have had a place in the circle of life.
How are you involved with the wolf here today?
I took my board game to her house for How Night. She invited many friends. We had fun playing the game, a real How. We ate Boy Scout popcorn and had fun playing the game.
Is there anything else, Mr. Brannigan?
So it's simple as that.
Mr. Brantley?
Sir, do you really believe the wolf is a necessary part of nature? I don't think he's necessary anywhere.
Mr. Brantley, keep your opinion to yourself.
Mr. Brannigan, answer please.
Yes, I've seen it for myself at Eagle Creek Park each fall.
Okay.
Miss Coleman, it's your turn.
I call Mr. Jim Klinger.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Be seated.
Tell us your name and your involvement in this case.
I am Jim Klinger, owner of a Vanilla Bean Bakery. I first became introduced to Miss Wolf when she came into my store to purchase some goodies for Little Red Riding Hood. She said Miss Hood had lost her food as she skipped through the neighborhood. Miss Wolf, so thoughtful. The next time I saw her was in the classroom. I went to the school to tell the children about becoming an entrepreneur. Miss Wolf was an attentive student asking good questions. That's all I can tell you.
Thank you, Mr. Klinger.
Mr. Brantley,
Are you sure there weren't any faces of pigs on your baked goods?
Of course not. Why would there be any use for pig faces on our sweets?
Just looking for a connection for that hungry wolf.
I'm ready to call Miss Coleman, Mr. Brantley. Miss Coleman,
I call Miss Brody.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
be seated.
Please state your name and tell us how you are involved with Miss Wolf.
I met Miss Wolf when she came into my store. Sweet woman, looking for sweets, for Little Red who lost her sweets for her granny. She picked our caramel-covered apples. She said her granny loved the pigs at school. Granny volunteered often and read stories to the pigs. She got the apples in honor of Granny's caring. I only carry them once a year, in the fall.
Thank you, Miss Brody.
Mr. Brantley,
I told you so. Apples for pig's mouth, roasted.
Mr. Brantley, apples are a far cry from real ham or bacon. Sit down. Miss Coleman, who is next?
I call Dina Sykes of Tulip Moore.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Miss Sykes, do you know Miss Wolf?
I do. I met her when she came physically into my store looking for a good pork sandwich. She was buying it for Little Red Riding Hood and lost her basket of food for her dear granny. Miss Wolf was going to surprise her by filling her basket again. Nice lady, very polite. She said she loved reading the messages and chef writes to her teacher. The messages are friendly and teach the children about good nutrition.
That is going out of the way to be helpful. Your chef and Miss Wolf. Thank you, Mrs. Sykes.
Mr. Brantley,
I told you so. I told you so. Piggy Hen ate some pork sandwiches.
Mr. Brantley, you are jumping to conclusion. The food is for Granny. Listen, will you? Miss Coleman,
The defense calls Jose Bautista.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
be seated.
Please state your name and your connection to this case.
My name is Jose Bautista. I am in class with the wolf. Also, my uncle works at Boston Market. He waited on the wolf the day she bought food from Little Red's basket. She ordered ham and steamed apples. She heard Granny Wolf mention that she loved a good piece of ham.
Is there anything else?
No, only that my uncle liked the wolf a lot. Very polite. Complimented me to my uncle. I like that.
Thank you, Jose.
Mr. Brantley,
Jose, don't you think ham was for the wolf? She loves to eat innocent piggies.
No, I don't. If she wanted to eat pigs, she would have done it sooner in our classroom.
They are there together every day.
You two. This is a wolf conspiracy. You're probably all disguised as wolves.
Again, sit, Mr. Brantley.
Thank you, sir. The fence calls GREENBRIAR School. Police Officer Coleman.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please state your name and tell us how you were involved in this dispute.
I'm Officer Coleman. I'm at school daily. I spend most of my time being a friend to the students. You know, a true officer friendly.
Do you know the wolf in question and the three little pigs? If so, please tell us what you know about them.
Miss Wolf is a wonderful new addition to our school. She's honest, friendly, spirited, and very helpful to employees and students. She sets a fine example for others to follow. Unfortunately, those pigs give her a hard time, always trying to make her look bad. But it's not true. Those pigs just read the wrong books. If they were reading their textbooks instead of those fairy tale wolf stories, they might be a little wiser.
Thank you, officer.
Anything for Miss Wolf.
Mr. Brantley,
Rah, rah, wolf. Isn't that what everybody says?
now you sit down, Mr. Brantley. Miss Coleman, your next witness.
I call Scout Leader Ray to the stand.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Please be seated.
Tell us your name and your relationship to Miss Wolf.
Well, I'm the local cub master, and I don't know Miss Wolf well, but she did contact me recently and asked if she could join our Cub Scout pack. She'd heard about all the fun things we do, like building and racing model cars, camping, cave trips, and of course, our famous gross desserts contest.
And what did you tell her?
Well, I plan to thank her for her generous purchases of popcorn this year, and then also tell her that we would love to have her come along on some of our adventures, including the camping trips and the meetings. But since she's a girl, she can't officially become a Cub Scout.
I imagine she'll be happy to know that you have accepted her into your troop. But tell me, sir, there are those who say you have made negative comments about wolves in your meeting. Is this so?
You know, that's something I regret. It was just a little slip. I've been to Wolf Park, and I know the truth about wolves. It's just my whole life I've heard people use the expression, just throw them to the wolves. I guess I wasn't thinking. It was just a slip. I know that the wolves aren't vicious, including Miss Wolf. In fact, I walked right into Miss Wolf's class with some of our delicious Cub Scout popcorn and shared it with all of the students, including Miss Wolf.
Well, we all make mistakes and slips, Mr. Ray. I've heard that the class has forgiven you. But what about disrupting class and giving them sugar?
Okay, I'm guilty there too. I promise I won't make any more caramel corn runs without getting prior approval from the teacher.
Thank you, sir. I can see that the boys are fortunate to have you leading them.
Mr. Brantley?
Okay, Mr. Reed, tell the truth. You can tell me wolves are vicious creatures and we all must fear, right?
Oh, no sir, Mr. Brantley. Maybe you should go on the next Wolf Park trip and learn for yourself. I think the wolves have been misunderstood for many, many years.
Sure.
Miss Coleman, your next witness, please.
The fence calls trick-or-treater.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
Be seated.
Tell us your name, please, and include your involvement with Miss Wolf.
Well, they just call me Sam in my classroom. I'm a 3rd grade student. I'm a trick-or-treater. I was making my candy brownies on Halloween night. I went to the home of the 3rd little pig. I knocked, but it wouldn't let me in. It was squealing and carrying on. It
It was pathetic, just pathetic. Those pigs always jumped to conclusions, and this time it was no different. Oh, and I heard they took my photo.
Bailiff, please show us Exhibit 1.
Clearly, you can see that this is our same trick-or-treater. In reality, just another boy from the class.
Maybe you would. Not like me when I was a boy. Back then, I didn't know the meaning of innocence.
Oh my, Miss Coleman, go on, please.
And what did you do after leaving the pig's home?
Well, I just went on my way, eating some of the candy I collected.
Thank you, trick-or-treater.
You're very welcome.
Mr. Brantley?
I bet you just wanted to scare those pigs, so you wore that costume to scare them. Is that right?
Well, no. Well, maybe just a little bit. They deserve it. Always disrupting classrooms with school yells every time Miss Wolf moves.
Well, that's one opinion. We'll see what the jury thinks.
Oh, Mr. Brantley, will you never learn? Miss Coleman, you may call your next witness.
I call Native American from the Shawnee tribe, White Fang.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do. You may be seated.
Tell us your name and tell us how you know the wolf in question.
My name is White Thing, named after the great wolf. I am relative to Chief Tecumseh and the Prophet. My great-great-great-grandfather passed on stories of the Wolf General for being a scout for our tribes, as well as talking to the American forces to make peace and share our land. He thought that there was room for everyone, no need to battle, no need to take from others. Some listened to his words, but there was much pressure from others to fight. His great-great-great-granddaughter is Miss Wolf here today. She is as honorable as he.
Was Wolf General present at the Battle of Tippecanoe?
No, he was unaware of the Prophet's intention to attack without his brother and the Confederacy. He was off making peace at the time of the battle with Chief Tecumseh.
Thank you for your testimony.
Mr. Brantley, would you like to question this witness?
You will probably tell me that this wolf general was so abstaining that he didn't bother little piggy. Is that true?
When he was out scouting, he ate only squirrels, sometimes deer.
Yeah. And he only took what he needed and no more.
Yes, that's true.
Oh my gosh!
Thank you for coming so far today. We appreciate your service here today. Miss Coleman, call your next witness.
We call Princess Pocahontas.
Raise your right hand. Do you promise to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I did. Please be seated, Princess Pocahontas. But we do have well-known people in our courtroom today.
You are a Native American Indian, is that true?
Yes, that is true.
Please tell us about your understanding of the wolf and its connection to nature.
The wolf is a North American mammal respected by the North American natives. We have been friends for many, many years. The wolf works with nature to help keep a balance.
Is there more that you can tell us about the Native Americans?
Yes, my people sit in a circle in order to communicate. This shows how we are all connected. People, animals, and plants. All life is connected. If only man understood that as well as the animals do. In fact, my dream catcher shows this importance. Do you notice the green bead in the center? It stands for the earth. The red bead stands for the vegetable, the yellow for the black for the black, the white for white, and the yellow for yellow. The dream catcher is made of plants and has a feather hanging from it. This shows how we are all connected. I would like to read something from my people. our duty to speak as caretakers for the natural world, the meaning being that all life is equal, including the four-legged and the winged things. The meaning has been lost. The two-legged walks around thinking he is supreme with his laws of all living things. We come here and we say they too have rights. My people have lived alongside the wolf for many centuries, and the wolf is an animal to be respected. I have brought a song along with me that I would like to share with you. Please find your song sheets and sing along as it teaches you much about life as well as about this trial. Parents, would you please find your song sheets?
Earth is just a dead thing you can claim, but I know every tree and creature has a spirit, has a name. Think the only people who are people are the people who live and think like you. Rise to the morning, rise to bring on that white flame. Can you sing with all the voices around? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Can you paint with all the colors of the wind? Come run the hill-high trails of forests. Come taste the sun-sweet berries of the earth. Come roll in all the riches all around you, and for once never wonder what they're worth. The rainstorm and the river are my brothers, and Aaron and the ocean are my friends, and we are all connected to each other in a circle, in a loop that never ends. Life is a simple rose. If you cut it down, then you'll never know. And you'll never hear those cries of the Lord moon, for as we are waiting for the wind, we can sing with all the voices of the mountains. We can paint with all the colors of the wind. Keep right on the earth until all your holy earth, until you can paint with all the colors
Thank you, Princess Pocahontas.
Mr. Brantley?
Princess, do you know the wolf on trial, the big bad wolf?
My people are friends to all wildlife, and the wolf is wildlife.
I thought so. Friends, loyal friends.
Mr. Brantley?
Thank you, Princess Pocahontas.
You may be seated. Does the defense rest, Miss Coleman?
Yes, Your Honor.
We are ready for closing statements. Mr. Brantley?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have seen for yourself the wolf's eyes and teeth of the wolf. I ask for you to sit down and to serve this country.
Miss Coleman?
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I would like to thank you for paying close attention to the testimony of the witnesses. I think you would agree that we shouldn't judge people or living things by what they look like. People are often scared by wolves by their sharp teeth and yellow eyes, but their sharp teeth allow them to tear their food, and their yellow eyes are a result of their activities being mostly at night. Miss Wolf's only mistake was running away from the homes she mistakenly destroyed. Instead of staying to explain, she was attempting to make her neighborhood a good place for all to live. Ladies and gentlemen, you have a great responsibility. You must decide whether Miss Wolf, who is presumed innocent, will be found guilty based upon evidence which is weak. Remember her testimony. I ask that we return a verdict if not guilty. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Brantley. Thank you, Miss Coleman. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you're instructed under the Constitution that people are innocent until proven guilty. You've heard the evidence, and only the evidence that comes from the mouth of the witnesses is to be considered, not what the attorneys have said. You are instructed to retire to decide whether the wolf is guilty of intentional destruction of property and for Stephen's 3 little pigs in fear of their lives.
All rise.
We, the jury, find the Miss Wolf not guilty.
Thank you, jury. In our system, we depend upon citizens as yourself to render your services. My job as judge is to remain neutral. However, as judge, I feel compelled to comment in this case. Miss Wolf has been found not guilty of intentional destruction of property and for putting the 3 little pigs in fear of their lives. I do feel that Miss Wolf needs to work on being a better communicator so that others get to know her and understand her. The situation is a hard one because others are ready to judge her unfairly based on rumor and on how she looks. Therefore, she must continue to work hard to prove her good intentions and to speak up, to let others know her character. I wish her luck with her technical talent and with training. Pigs, as for you, stop charging in. Think before you leave. It seems to me that most conflict begins with lack of clear communication and with rumors. It is important that the 3 little pigs and all other people in this courtroom learn a lesson from this unfortunate happening. We must learn to speak only what we know for a fact, the absolute truth, not from hearsay. We must listen and think before we speak or act. Most problems in our world would not occur if we tried to speak, listen, and understand the diversity that makes our courtroom a great one. Your own school board has outlined a plan for you to build character, the human relations plan. It is everyone's responsibility to carry that plan out. I have no more to say in this matter.
That's our honorable judge, Judge Kyborn.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yes, Dr. Wolf.
I'd like to say a few things before we leave this building. I used to think all judges were all like Judge Judy, but today I've had my eyes open. We are lucky United States citizens to have a neutral place to bring our disputes. But there's one thing lacking today. We need to celebrate the truth that has been revealed. I happen to have some music with me and would like to invite some participants to join in a little fun with me. Ready? Courtroom quarter. Music, please.
Hear ye! Hear ye! The court's in session. The court's in session. Now, here come the judge. Here come the judge.
Here come the judge! Here come the judge! Here come the judge! Oh! Here come the judge!
Stop beating that bud, 'cause here come the judge. Don't nobody budge, 'cause here come the judge. Judge Shorty is presiding today, and he don't get no stuff from nobody, no kind of way. Hey boy, take off that hat. Where do you think you at? I know where you gonna be if you don't hear my plea. I'm here to say the Lord now. Can't nobody smoke now. Here comes the judge. Here comes the judge. First case on the docket today.
Judge, I gotta go ahead and can't dance.
Can't dance?
Can't dance, you are.
What is this? 90 days. 30 days to boogaloo. 30 days to learn how to shingle-lee. And 30 more for the Afro twist. Can't dance, hell. What is this? Huh? lost in the jungles of Brazil, and to face the judge this morning the way you feel. Now here comes the judge, here comes the judge. Don't nobody budge, 'cause here comes the judge. Everybody's going through some time today.
Please be seated, ladies and gentlemen of the gallery. We have some special people to thank. This court always welcomes Officer Ryan and thank him for protecting all participants. We thank all of our jurors and our families for coming to see our play today. Thank you to Scoutmaster Ray for his supply of Boy Scout popcorn and for leading Scouts at GREENBRIAR. Last and not least, Mr. Kite, you have helped the grade 8 team to secure a courtroom for a total of 9 mock trials now. Thank you. So you haven't had a child in class for 12 years. You still give us opportunities to learn. You work hard to be on Washington Township School Board. We love you and thank you. We thank Judge Tim Baker for the use of the courtroom. It is quite an honor to be here today in this beautiful and historic building. Our great thanks to Courtroom Deputy Amy Hope for her generous help. Students, please stay seated until our guests have left the courtroom. Guests, after you leave, please be sure to take the handouts we have for you. Thank you for supporting us here today.
Little Red Riding
the clouds are far behind me, where trouble melts like a lemon drops high above the chimney top. That's where you find me, oh, somewhere over the rainbow, way